amount of courage, and I see a great amount of personal grace. It's always so inspiring to all of us.
I vividly remember reading about Western States for the first time. It was about 15 years ago, and it just leapt out at me and captured my imagination. The unusual beginnings of the race, the rugged nature of the course, and then of course the buckle. And I held it in my heart that one day I could do Western States.
Inspiring to all of us to experience that. When you are running today, remember that there are people out there, your crews, your family, our volunteers, who want nothing more than to see at least one smile from you.
But before then I was chasing my Comrades green number, which is 10 successful finishes at Comrades, which I achieved last year in 2018. I then entered one of the two qualifiers in Australia, the Blackall 100, and I had a really tough day. And the first thing I said to my family when I got across the line was, yeah, I don't think I'll enter Western States. I'm just not cut out for this.
Today, know that as you're making your way, the person standing next to you right now, they could very well be that person that when you're up on that icy side hill and somebody slides off, that's the person who's going to show that nobility. You're going to reach out and help that person.
But I felt differently the next morning, and without talking to my family all that much, I entered the ballot, and December the 1st came round. But I really did it only for one primary reason. I knew that there was no ways with one ticket I could get in. And I did it so that one day when I'm sitting on my rocking chair, I won't have to say coulda, woulda, shoulda. I can say I gave it a crack, and I at least wanted to do myself the honesty of at least once qualifying, having a crack, and then I could move on, because I knew there was no way that my number would get chosen.
We're back to Australia. From Warner, Australia, Stan Etting.
So after entering the ballot on the night, I think, of the 10th of November, I didn't really talk about it much with my wife, admittedly. So the night before we were at a party, and I mentioned that the ballot was on December 1st, but I assured my wife that very little chance of me getting drawn. In the days that have followed, it's been pretty full on. I've been talking to a lot of people, set up meetings, got a lot of books, watched a lot of videos, and I'm on my way to start official training today with Emma, my daughter. I was really blessed in my training, which happened mostly in southeast Queensland on the trails, to be able to run with some really awesome guys and girls who accompanied me for many hours in the dark, in the wet, up and down, getting lost. It was just a great journey on the way to Western States. And even if I somehow missed it out through injury, all that training and spending time in the quality of such great people would have been a massive bonus for me. Okay, I'm with my training buddy Reese, and we're on our least favourite climb on Camp Mountain called Chainsaw, which Have a look at Chainsaw down over there. This is what happens when you let Jason navigate. It's Saturday morning, 11th of May, and it's an early morning start for me. I'm doing my Western States service today at the Cook's Tour 50 miler, and I'm at a checkpoint in the middle of the forest somewhere, making sure that all the runners go the right way. So looking forward to get my service requirement done and the certification submitted, and that's just one less thing to do in my run up to jumping on the plane and heading to Squaw Valley. Have a good day down there. Drag race. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, so 2 o'clock. Saturday the 4th of May, and we have 8 hours coming up. This is my running buddy Jason, and we're both operating on minimal sleep. So we're going to hit the trails, and weather forecast looks pretty bad. It's going to rain on us, but got to get the job done. Boys. Oh, is that Reese?
Yeah, not bad. Pretty good. Yeah, feeling
Getting
good.
used to that mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as you can.
Awesome, brother. Another one down for you. Last one.
Yeah. I remember arriving in Squaw Valley, driving through the alpine meadow and trying to look up underneath the car windscreen to see the top of the mountain that we were going to climb for the first 6.5 kilometres, and I realised that what I thought I was training for and what I was going to be running on were kind of two different things. I can spice it up. As much as I trained really hard and I trained well, nothing here in southeast Queensland approximates the kind of elevations that we were going to have on the day. And so even though for many years I dreamt of a silver buckle, I had to be realistic. This was my first 100 miler, and this is my first Western States, and I'm really a road ultra runner for the last 14 years, so a complete rookie at trails, and so I knew just finishing was going to be a big mission.
Stan, we've just arrived at Squaw Valley. This is where you start in a couple of days. How's it going?
Feeling very nervous, mate. Very nervous.
What are you most nervous about?
Not finishing. The atmosphere in the village was amazing. I'd seen it on YouTube's, read about it, and it really didn't disappoint. Coming into Western States as a trail rookie and as a one-ticket holder, I felt a little bit fraudulent, but I was made to feel, along with everybody else, really special. It didn't matter if you were a top 10 contender or just an average Joe like me. The whole process helped me feel really special, and it's something that I'll treasure for the rest of my life. I met my pacers for the first time as well, Taddy and James, and I was able to get my crew together, and in the 2 days before the race, the excitement and the fear started to build. I've seen the start of Western States many times on videos, and it was just great. There was a motivational talk just before the gun went off, which was like few talks I've ever heard in my life. It really inspired me and helped calm me, even though I was so scared and experiencing so much fear. The gun went off and I knew that it was too late to turn back. We just had to head up to the escarpment and the show was on.
Okay, first of many missions over. We're at the top. Time to run. Love your work.
cresting the escarpment and being able to start running was amazing. And then we hit the snow, and we were with the snow for, I don't know, about 20 to 25 kilometers. It all seems like a blur, but up there it was staggeringly beautiful. It was difficult and highly technical, and it really slowed us down. But it was exhilarating. I'd never done anything like that before, and I tried to capture as much as I could when I was mindful of the beautiful scenery around us. And those first couple of aid stations, until eventually we saw our crew for the first time in Robinson Flat, just seemed to go so quickly, but absolutely unforgettable.
As the race goes on, it's interesting to see the change of vegetation and scenery. I still think we're in the high country here. We haven't really started any major descent yet. As you can see, there's snow around now, which is a bad thing from a scenery point of view, but I'm thankful not to be slipping and sliding all over the place. Thank you. Cheers. What's your number? What's your number? Here to help Thank you.
Here we go, number 174 here.
I just need some water in there. Thanks, sir.
What about soda?
No, I'm good, thank you. Just some watermelon. Appreciate your help.
You're welcome. That's what we're here for. You guys get out this way.
All right, 77 here, 166
Good job.
Go. All right.
No, right here.
You need more?
No, I'm good, thanks. Thanks, sir.
All right, have fun.
Cheers, sir.
174 out.
174 out, thank you. We're 25 miles in now, and we're dropping into Duncan Canyon. Been through the Duncan Canyon aid station. Bit of a shock. All these people going crazy all of a sudden. Very disorienting. But as you can see, vegetation's become less. There's a huge fire that came through here a few years ago. But some of the trees are starting to grow back. So it's starting to get a little bit hot in here. Oh, that's refreshing. Oh, man alive. Oh. I normally hate getting my feet wet, but that was kind of refreshing.
Have a seat, Stanley.
Thank you, buddy.
Doing good, dude. You want a Red Bull or not? One son. Temperature seems good.
Okay. Right, left shoe. Thank you. Thanks. All right.
Stand footing!
Go Stanley!
Stands true, a little bit behind time, but we think he's looking fantastic and we reckon he's going to pick up the pace. Thanks to all the supporters round about. Trail run spirit. Got Andy here on the station here, Robinson Flat, mate. How's it going?
Good, it's great.
You experienced this sort of thing?
Yes, this is my 8th time crewing the race. I ran the race 1 year.
You ran
and, unfortunately had to drop out with an injury.
Yeah.
And I've crewed and done a lot, worked and run a lot of other races.
Yeah, and how do you think the runners are looking today? They're going to say it was cooler, but I don't know.
It's very much a cool year.
Yeah.
This is good.
This is cool.
Really good. People are moving really fast. A lot of people look really good. I think it's going to be a fast year for the fast runners, and a really good year for a lot of the runners, first timers, and the rest of the pack. I think it's going to be a high finishing rate.
All right.
So great.
Thanks, Andy. Love your work, mate.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Love the volunteers.
Just come through Duncan Canyon, 8th station. Sorry, Robinson Flat. First time I saw my crew, and it's just fantastic. Incredibly humbling that people will do that for you. I've got Andrew, who's flown over from Newcastle, Australia. James, a pacer from Sydney, flown over. Taddy, a pacer, flown in from Crested Butte, Colorado. And Stephen, who's driven up from LA. And very humbling to have that there, and such a big thrill to see them. The climb out of Duncan Canyon up to there was just awful. A lot of the climbs here will have switchbacks, but that one was just kind of straight up. So 1 canyon down, 2 to go, and looking forward to winding back the average bit here. I'm trying to run a silver buckle today, which means 24 hours, which in kilometre terms means an average of 9 minutes per kilometre. I'm currently at 9:03, so I obviously lose a lot on the climbs and gain on the drops. So if I can get to Forest Hill with legs, then I'll be able to wind back, clock back a bit on that next section down to Rocky Chucky with my first pacer James. So that's the challenge, to get through the next canyon without chewing myself out too much. See the team again, Michigan Bluff, and then the next goal will be to make it to Forest Hill. That'll be approximately 100 kilometres in, and hoping to get there well before sunset, so we'll see how it goes. Beautiful section just after Miller's defeat. It's given me an opportunity to wind down the average, so very happy with that. Okay, we're heading down to Dusty Corners, and things are getting pretty serious. Don't fall off the side. Hey, thank you. Hey, you guys rock. Yeah. Thanks.
I'll take care of all your needs there.
Cheers, Hi, how you going?
Good for you.
Just the watering in there, please. This is the second canyon. After Dusty Corners, normally it'd be 41 centigrade here, but having a great day weather-wise, and I'm very happy. Hi guys. Thank you.
Get you anything.
The run from Robinson Flat through to Last Chance was probably one of the best parts of the course for me. Really kind downhill, and I was able to run quite a lot and make up some places. Once we reached Last Chance, that was the end of it really. The descent into Deadwood Canyon was quite savage, and then the climb up the Devil's Thumb was absolutely agonising, and I knew by the time I got up to the top there that I certainly wasn't going to be able to get a silver buckle, and began dealing with that mentally and emotionally, and realising that the best thing I could do on the day was actually finish, and so that became my concentration.
Hi guys, how are you? Straight that way? Yep. Well, the climb begins. Nearing the end of the worst section so far. The descent into, I think it's El Dorado Canyon, and then up Devil's Thumb. We're up really high now. We descended from the far side, which was punishing, and then we ascended up Devil's Thumb. I think I know what it's called. Devil's Thumb is. It's literally like that. Looking forward to seeing the team at Michigan Bluff shortly. Coming up out of El Dorado now. The descent into and climb up Devil's Thumb was just shredded me. So I've lost time, and so hadn't worked out. My bad. The Duncan Canyon doesn't count in the 3 canyons, so just coming out the second one now, up to Michigan Bluff, see the crew, one more canyon to Forest Hill. Okay, that was a short but tough climb up Michigan Bluff. So my crew will be waiting just around the corner, and looking forward to the pick me up and seeing familiar faces.
Tuck into the tent here by yourself. Do you want any food? Eat up, eat up.
great boost to see the team heading out of Michigan Bluff. Now I need to make it to Forest Hill without hemorrhaging too much time. And arrive with some legs. It's going to be a real fight to try and wind the clock back to under 24 finish. Not looking likely from this point, but it's still from Forest Hill 60 kilometres to go, so hopefully I can pull something back.
An Irish lady sent me some Irish blessings. 3, 5. They're behind you, mate.
Go for it, James. Have a nice day.
Okay, we're at Forest Hill. This is James.
Hey,
Pacer number
Stan.
1. Woo! Crewman. Stateside crewman.
and Stan is on fire. Stan is ready to charge.
And this is the beautiful town of Forest Hill. A little bit rustic. I love that view.
Very popular one day a year.
Getting to Forest Hill was an absolute blast. I couldn't wait to see my team. I wanted to get there with some legs left to do some running, which I did, and I picked up my pacer James. We had about 20 minutes left of daylight, and the whole complexion of the race seemed to change. Up until that point, I found it quite hard to strike up conversations. Everybody just seemed so narrow and focused, in pain, I suppose, and just trying to survive. But once we picked up our paces, all of a sudden, there was somebody to talk to. And James and I just connected so well on such a deep level, and we just talked and talked. And by the time we got to Rucky Chucky, I felt like, is that it? Is that all I'm getting? It just seemed to pass so quickly. But unfortunately, that was the last of my fast running for Western States. Once we got across the river, things were going to change.
Yeah, this is Stan. Stan is doing the Western States, the holy grail of ultra running, and he's running like a legend. The last, let's say, about 12 Ks. He's mastered the course. I think he's pulled back about 20 places at least. That's just the truth of the matter. And he's looking strong. And this is, yeah. And he wouldn't be anywhere else in life. Would you be anywhere else, Stan? He wouldn't be. He's, that's right. Now, the leg's a bit sore, Stan. Stop whinging. Pain is good. Pain is good for you. No whinging. Aussies don't whinge, mate. I'm sorry. No whingers out here. No, you're not a whinger. Oh, you're Aussie enough. Anyway, this is one of life's unbelievable achievements. 100 and maybe 15k of massive canyons, snow, heat of the canyons, and Stan is still running.
Oh, I will, thank you. Thank you. Straight in?
Yep, you're yachting.
Thanks. Where do we sit?
Anywhere.
Thank you, driver. Well, they're all lining up.
How you feeling?
Yeah, good. It's just the good. 174. Brisbane, Australia. And where are you from? Oh, sweet. You came all the way for this? Thank you.
When we got to Rucky Chucky, my pacer Taddy tag teamed with James, and we set off on the boat to cross the American River, and then the big slog up to Greengate. And then along the way to ALT, two things happened. The first is I started falling asleep, and it got quite dangerous. And I'd read somewhere where if you sleep for even 1 minute, it can make a difference. So I cut a deal with Taddy that I could sleep for 3 minutes. And so we found some space on the side of the trail, and the second I got horizontal, I fell asleep. Taddy eventually was able to wake me up after 3 minutes, and that solved my issue with falling asleep.
Sorry, this is ridiculous.
The next problem was realising there was something wrong with my foot, and I took my shoe off and found a fairly sizable blood blister, and that got cut open at ALT aid station. But during that process of not running, my core body temperature just really plummeted, and I began shivering and my legs locked up. So it became a bit of a struggle out of that station to get going. And I found some climbs that existed pretty much between ALT and Highway 49 that I hadn't really looked at on the map very much, but they were really huge climbs. So there was a lot of misery to be had in those dark, early hours of the morning, and that was the toughest part for me. I wasn't moving very fast. I was losing some of the places I made up, and it wasn't fun anymore.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you want Coke, ginger ale? You're gonna feel it.
Sorry?
Coke's good.
Just got a Coke, yeah. Coke and a pancake, please.
Pancake's right here.
About the only part of the day that really kind of hurt me in a way was No Hands Bridge. I had it in my mind, in my dreams, that I would get to No Hands Bridge and see the fairy lights in the dark, because that would mean that you're on time for a silver buckle, something I'd dreamed of for many years. But by the time I got there, the sun had well risen and they were actually rolling the lights up. So that kind of hurt. But having said that, the run from No Hands Bridge through to the finish was amazing. Lots of people coming down onto the trail and cheering you on and encouraging you, because they knew that you were going to finish with a couple of hours to spare. And then, of course, we picked up the team at Roby Point, and we all ran in together down that final road, turning into the school and then around the track. Absolutely magic, and something I will treasure for the rest of my life.
The trip's been worthwhile.
Let's go on the other side.
Yep, all right. Come on, celebrate. Did it, bud? Blood blisters. Pain.
For me, Western States has been an amazing journey, and at the heart of that journey has been great people. It started with training for the qualifying race, doing that race, and then training for Western States itself, and then competing. And at the heart of all that has been great people. I often get back on a Saturday morning after a long run and I say to my wife, Julie, you know what? I'm really blessed because I get to hang out with amazing high caliber people. And we laugh together, we hurt together, we share our lives together. And that has been the story of Western States for me. And then on the day or on the weekend itself, having my pacers and my crew who've gone to such great lengths to do that for me is just incredibly humbling. So Western States will be something I cherish for the rest of my life, and something, because of the people, that has enriched me immeasurably.